Today's video, we're going to talk about, do you need to be the cheapest on shopping ads, the cheapest product, if you will, on Google Shopping of the 8 different shopping placements there on the Google search that you're trying to show up on? The answer to that question, I can tell you on a preliminary basis, is no. And the reason for that is there's other factors that have way greater impact on the profitability of your shopping ads than the price itself. Yes, that's accurate. No, this is not clickbait. The exception, however, is that if you're selling a commodity, if you sell a 32-inch Sharp XJR model TV, okay, your price is going to be the biggest factor as to whether or not that sells or not. The simple reason for that is because what the user have to do to evaluate you versus other vendors other than just price at that point in time. They know the quality is there because it's a brand name item. There's a million reviews for that item already out there on the internet. You're not going to add any value talking about how good that TV is on your product page. So there's really no other factor other than price, which if that's you, you can win by, which we've had a client in the past before, sell open box TV items. That is somebody who's returned the item, they buy them bulk from the stores and then they resell them on Google search, which is a great business, by the way, to get into if you want a business idea to go ahead and run with. And that's one way you can win. And it actually helps you tremendously have a business because you can even, just by being 10 or 20% cheaper than the competition when everybody else is X and you're 10% under, you can crush it already. However, if you're selling something that's quality, the price does not have to be the cheapest. And despite what you think, people aren't buying primarily on price. There are some things out there, sure. They just want the cheapest price on. But for that matter, it mainly matters in places where you sell a commodity. Literally speaking, you could be selling a block of gold or what have you. The price is going to be what people rely on. But the less of a commodity it is, the less the damn price matters. And if you're trying to just operate your business based upon being the cheapest, you can read a bunch of case studies about businesses that do this. They all their days are numbered. Somebody will eventually sell cheaper than you, and then you have no edge, you have no reason to be in business anymore. So I'm going to explain what these factors are that matter a hell of a lot more than price, and then when you do have to worry about price or else, where you're going to be, that's going to be apply to you, if you will. I'm Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, which is a PPC agency that does Google ads, Facebook ads, and so forth, what makes us specifically unique is we guarantee results for our clients. That is more profitability from your ads before there's any kind of payment made to our firm. We're the only agency in the world who makes any kind of guarantee like that out there at all, which should tell you something about the quality of the information that I'm sharing with you here today, given that I spend 40 hours a week doing ad testing and strategy to get the client's results at our firm. I'm the sole key strategist at the firm doing it, and therefore you're getting live wire information straight from the source, straight from what, all the millions of dollars of ad testing that we're doing on an ongoing basis for the dozens of clients that we have. You're getting it right here on this channel. So with that said, I'm going to go through, like I mentioned, why price is not nearly as big a factor as you think it might be, what you can do if you don't have the cheapest price, and what you have to do if price is going to be a stickler for you in order to get your shopping / if you're running PMAX to run shopping placements, in order to get this to be actually profitable and scalable for you at the end of the day. And then if you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to give you some case studies here of where the price mattered, like I already gave you at the start of the video, where it didn't matter, and how changing the price actually affected the profitability of what we were doing specifically. So it is a lever, has a different effect on your business and your profitability and your ability to scale shopping ads based upon what you're selling. With that said, here are the biggest factors with shopping ads that are going to make you more money focusing on them than just the price. So if you are selling a commodity, okay, yes, price is going to matter. If you're selling that gold bar or pound of raw grain or whatever, the price is going to be the number one concern because people have confidence in what you're selling already. It's a damn commodity, so you got to have a cheaper price. That said, okay, if this is actually you don't have to be that much cheaper than the competition to have a much higher click-through rate than your competition. We've had people sell actual food commodities like that. It's a health food store, and just simply by being 3 to 5% cheaper than all the other people in that space, what you literally will do if this is you is you go to the 8 shopping placements that are next to you, and you just see who's the cheapest one. You're 2 to 3% cheaper than them. You'll clean up. You'll have click-through rates at least 10, if not 50 to 100% higher than everybody else, because there's really anything else to go on. The image of the product does matter, and I don't want to say it's not, even if you are selling a commodity. But the price obviously is a bigger factor there, and so you should at least focus on that first, and also because it's the easiest thing to optimize for. You just literally just lower the price and you're done. That said, the image is always a close second, okay? That image, if you're selling the grain like we had, what you do is you look at the different 8 placements there, and just like with the pricing, you try to say, how do I become that purple cow, if you will, that stands out? Whatever stands out is going to get the most clicks, okay? So it's not even about merit, it's about what catches attention, what's going to catch the eye. So if everybody has a white background on their product image, you want to not have a white background on your product image. If everybody has a colored background or a lifestyle background, it's on a backdrop of a bench or backdrop of a living room, you want to do the opposite of that. So it's not about whether something works or doesn't work. If there is any universal truth as it comes to optimizing that shopping image, it's to be different than all the other 7 people you show up next to. So you have to do some vanity searches for your own products and see what's actually showing up there. And if and that'll obviously change over time, but respectively, usually the lifestyle images do the best because nobody wants to invest in having every single product they have in a living room so they can do that. And therefore, you spend the money to do that, your image is going to get a much higher notice rate than your competition. Your click-through rate's going to probably double, if not triple at that point in time. Then Google's going to really start showing you, and then start showing other items so you have upwards, like we have many times in the markets that we're in. Have your ad show up 5 out of the 8 times, then you're really banking. That should be actually your end goal, which, by the way, if that happens to you, one of the other small tricks that we found out by accident is you simply take the best sellers, have the best click-through rates as well, and you upload those multiple times to your product feed, which if you have an automated feed, you could set up a secondary product feed to add the items again, and then they'll show up like multiple times. That same item will show up multiple times in the shopping space, and people that see that are like, this item must really be popular, I'm going to click on it. So just another little hack you can do. But with that said, you need to focus on that image, and that, generally speaking, if you can't be the cheapest, there's just no way to be 2-3% cheaper than all the other people. Do focus on that, spend your money on that. Yes, it's going to take investment up front, but at least once you've got it done, you've got an edge on your competition now. The second thing I would focus on is your title / keyword / targeting. So the title of the product, a lot of people don't think that matters that much, but it actually does. And particularly when you're using descriptive words in your title. What the typical person will do is just simply take the title as it exists on their product pages on their site and then use that as the title for their shopping ad. That's not going to get you the best results. If you're selling a 4 horsepower drill in color black, your title should be 4 horsepower drill color black, not Black & Decker drill for sale, whatever, because it's not descriptive. The more descriptive that title is, and for obviously can't be randomly descriptive, that focuses on what the user actually cares about, the higher the click-through, because some people are going to hover over the ad before they click. And not only that, but when you do that, it actually helps the algorithm better place your ads, which goes into the targeting aspect of this. And what we'll often do to get more showing and more profitability and scalability out of our shopping campaigns is we'll find items that aren't scaling anymore. We'll go to the thesaurus, break out the thesaurus and find other descriptive words to seed into that product title, given the algorithm heavily looks at the product title to understand what this product is and for where it should show up at. Then what you do is you have your title, then you have a vertical bar, then you have your descriptive word, vertical bar, descriptive word, vertical bar, and you add 3 to 5 descriptive words after it that aren't on your product page at all, but will help the algorithm understand what it is. And yes, it junks up the look of the title, but it's worth it because you're going to probably almost instantly, as we found, show up for the searches related to that. So if you put the word beige after that, and that isn't on your page, but that describes, what you would say most people would also, or not most, but some people refer to the product that you have now, because it could be brown. And the product could say it's a brown drill, but some people might want to call it beige. You add beige to the product title. When somebody types in beige drill from now on, now it shows up. Now you can scale your campaigns a little bit more. That's specifically what I'm talking about here. With that said, you also could obviously focus on your landing page. Now that's the hardest thing to do. So that's why I put it further on down this list, okay, if you will. But that's a sure way to be able to make money in the Google shopping space without having to touch your pricing, because you can't, or you can't. And maybe you have manufacturer map pricing, you can't touch your pricing because of that. Respectively, if you add on your product pages customer testimonials, specifically video testimonials, because those work the best, and you add product comparisons where you buy all your competitors' products, you test your product versus the other competitors' products side by side, and put that into a video, put that on your product page. Then you also take your product and you actually show how it can be used. There's usually more than one way to use a product that benefits your customers and reason why people buy your product. You actually show videos of it used in all those different use cases. You put that on your product page. You actually show an influencer who's reviewed your product. You show that on your product page, if you will. And I could keep going here. And if you, by the way, want information along those lines, how to make a product page convert better, you can go ahead and just subscribe to this channel and go to my channel homepage, search for landing page tips, and I have the best landing page tips you can have that actually will get you results every time. Because I know the key things that people want, and they'll always continue to want. And if you add it to your page when your competitors don't, which most people don't want to do these things because it's a lot of work and or expensive to do, you do it, you're going to get more conversion rate from your campaign and you're going to win. You got to know what you're doing, but you got to put the work in as well. If you do both, nobody can touch you. So with that said, you can just focus on your landing page alone and you don't have to worry about your price. Worrying about price is like the lazy move. Yes, it's so easy to do, but a lot of people will just try to focus on being the cheapest, and all you end up doing there is cutting down your margin, of course, unless you cut the quality. And if you cut the quality, go along with what you're doing, eventually you're probably going to get some bad reviews, and then that's going to now eat into your conversion rate. And it's not the path. Long term, it's not the path that you want to go on. You want to be able to have the biggest margin so you can make the best product, because you'll make more money generally that way than just being the cheapest one, because it's a race to the bottom, if you will. Ultimately, you don't want to just lower your price as the only way that you can beat your competition. Where it does really help to beat your competition the most is like when we sold some house paint before, and our product, when we had it at $210, when we went ahead and changed the product price to $199, we actually got double the conversion rate, the ROI on that particular product once we did that, because it's getting a much higher click-through rate, which dropped the cost per click. Not only that, but we were getting a much higher conversion rate along with it. And the ROI in that particular product literally doubled just going ahead and lowering it 5% like that. So we doubled the ROI even with the lowering the price along with it, if you will. Yes, it's got a little bit less margin, but way offset by the increase in click-through rate and conversion rate you get. So the moral of that story being, if you're close to the next 100 or next 1,000 or more dramatic effect when you go from 2 digits to 3 digits, or 3 digits to 4 digits, if you're anywhere close to where $1,000, you should be going to $950 or whatever, or $995, because it'll have such an impact on your conversion rates. The higher your conversion rates go, the more you make per visit to your site that you're paying for. But also, Google's algorithm is going to say, this product performs well, we want to show up more, and then you're going to earn more money that way. Where price should be your first consideration is when you could lower your price slightly to be more competitive, but it shouldn't be your first consideration when you're just trying to lower your price, let's say by 30% to be the cheapest one in the space, because usually your margins will be so much less and you'll have so much less potential because of all the other things that are going to happen to you, ultimately by not having to have a way to make the product better over time and have money for that. Long term, that's not going to make you the most money, like I was mentioning before. The other thing you can do is you can do Google Merchant Center promotions. This is where you have a discount showing on your shopping ad as well. I've got a video just about that on my channel. You can search for it on my channel homepage on specific Google Merchant Center promotions that are effective versus other ones that are not. But long story short, what you do is you offer a 10% discount code. Why? Because there's, believe it or not, quite a few people that hover over that shopping ad before they click looking for that discount, and they will not click. And I get I get into arguments with our clients a lot because they say, oh, I don't want to offer a discount because, I cannot afford to give a discount. And I know I'm sounding like I'm contradicting myself here, and I sort of am. But whereas you shouldn't be lowering your price as a way to sell more because that's a dead end road long term. That said, there's a percentage of people looking for this discount. They will not click through anything without a discount. So if you do not have a discount, you're eliminating part of the potential customer base. And what my response is to say, yes, this is skeezy to do this, but hey, in life, we're here to make money. We're not here to make friends. Just raise the product price that you have by 5 or 10%, and then have a merchant center promotion to offer it at 10% off, and that'll get the other portion of the market who wants that. And they think they're getting a deal, and therefore, and if you say you're only offering it for so long, they're less likely to delay their purchase, which anytime they delay, the chances they come back and buy is, maybe they will, maybe they won't. You lock down the purchase sooner. Therefore, you're going to get a higher conversion rate. So you're going to get more people willing to do business with you, and the people who do click are going to be converting at a higher rate because of that discount. So that little 5-10% off or $50 off or whatever you do that you can afford to get away with and do, that's going to a lot of times bring up your sales double digits in and itself, and the ROI in a lot of cases 30, 40, 50% just in and itself. So I would also definitely look into that, even if you have to raise your product price like I mentioned before. The same house paint company that I just mentioned about where we changed the price itself, the Merchant Center promotion, that in and itself increased the sales by about 50% when we offered that. And then we had to take it away because the client said, so too many people are using it. Yeah, okay. But you're not going to get nearly as many sales if you're not offering the discount. You got to be able to think things through rationally and logically and unemotionally if you're going to make a lot of money as a marketer. Yes, you got to understand user psychology, but you got to understand numbers and math. If you're going to get emotional about how many people are using a discount because you don't like giving a discount, but you're not looking at the big picture as to how much more your volume has went up because you had so many people use the discount and that you were able to offer it in your shopping ad through Google Merchant Center promotions, then you're always going to be a mediocre, advertiser and business person at the end of the day. It's all relative. There's a sweet spot on Merchant Center promotion, the discount you offer in terms of too much, where it eats into your margins so much that it's not going to offset the increase in volume you get. The same thing applies to your pricing. And very few people do any kind of pricing testing at all. Your competitors, chances are they probably did no testing. Whereas you, if you're smart, you should be going and testing 190 versus 170 versus 150 and just see where it is that product price needs to be for that each item where you're going to get the most profit. Do it by item. And it is a lot of work, but if you don't want to do that, at the very least, you should be seeing where you're close to a price break, going from 2 to 3 digits, 3 to 4 digits, lowering it a little bit so you get that benefit, or from closer to the next $100 increment and lowering it a little bit so it's $199 versus $205 and doing that, because that always is going to increase your profitability at least 20, if not 50 to 100%, like I was mentioning with the case study we had before. So with that said, if you're not selling a commodity here, then the price is not your focus at all. It's going to be all the way down here at the very, very bottom, okay? Whereas if you're not selling a commodity, it's a much easier route to become rich selling the product that you have by making that product look as good as possible. So people are so tired of cheap Chinese anymore. Just be many times the one guy that makes it in the USA, so you can have a made in the USA label slapped in it, and you'll be the favorite in the market by default. With that, you sell it for 20, 30, 40% more to offset the cost of making it in the US, and you've got something that will do really, really well versus trying to compete with all the lowball sellers and struggling. I've seen this time and time again. Unless you're selling something like printer toner that's seen as a commodity, trying to be the cheap one isn't the way to go. Absolutely not. So you can make the image better, make your product stand out. You can make the titles better so they see on the ad before clicking is more clear what you're getting, and then also that it shows up in the right places more. You can make that landing page better, and you can add your Google Merchant Center promotions. And until you've done all that stuff, starting with the image, then starting with the title because it's easy to do, then the landing page, it's harder but still gives you a lot of impact, and then later on add the Merchant Center promotion for the people that are looking for that exclusively. You can optimize your price last, understanding, and the reason why you would optimize it last is because if you do all this stuff, you can often get away with selling something for $250, whereas if you didn't do all this stuff, you could only get away with selling it for $150 or $100. So, And if you do the price testing up front, you're going to have to do it again once you've improved all this stuff, because it's going to seem different. There's going to be a different level of appeal to it once you've done all this stuff than the way that it was before, and its appeal level then. So therefore, it doesn't make any sense to optimize, split test, if you will, the pricing up front, unless you're, 205 and go into 199, because that always works every time. So to answer the question, do you need to be the cheapest on shopping ads to win? No. If you're trying to sell a commodity though, certainly could be, especially something super commoditized like a branded TV set. Because even with if you're trying to sell sweaters, no-name sweaters that you get from China in bulk, even that, you could make it seem like the best sweater. And you don't have to focus on price. The TV set thing, unless you're like the cheapest one, legitimately, you're not going to be able to make that work, because more than half of the people are going to go Google at the last second before they buy the TV, type in the name, try to find the cheapest one, and then bang, they're going to buy it. Your sales funnel is going to be so efficient not being the cheapest one in that scenario, and I know because we were in that space, it's almost impossible to make money. So there are some instances where it's either lowest price or nothing, whereas 98% of the time otherwise, you don't have to be the cheapest one to win. Ultimately, if you don't know which is which, by the way, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'd be happy to give you a free assessment and look over what you're doing, your account, so on and so forth, and I can tell you which way it goes with what you're doing. And if I worked in your industry before, I can tell you the results we got in it. I've worked in over 100 niche markets. Chances are fairly high I've already done what you're looking to do already. And I can tell you how you can buy the templated ads, landing pages, campaign templates, all of it for the industry that we've spent years and millions of dollars of building up already at our agency for a client, and you sell it to you for a very small nominal fee, just copy and paste into your account, which there's no way you're going to figure out the same stuff we figured out over years for cheaper than what we figured it out. So therefore, it would be an absolute no-brainer to buy it from us instead of spending all this ad money to figure it all out for yourself. There's absolutely no way you're going to get it done cheaper than what we've done after spending those millions of dollars in ad spend over many, many years to figure it all out for ourselves. But if you were unsure, like I said, about is pricing, can you get by with not being the cheapest one, reach out to me and I'll let you know for sure. And then not only that, at the very least, if you like managing your own stuff, of course you can reach out to me and I can give you some free initial help, consulting, whatever. But at the very, very least, you subscribe to this channel, you pay attention to the stuff that I tell you works and what doesn't work using my information I get by doing my day job 40 hours a week, doing ad testing on many dozens of accounts at any given time on Google, on Facebook, and so forth. And you learn from that. I promise you there's not going to be any better information you're going to find online about how to actually make money with ads than you're going to find on the channel, as is you're going to find on my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. Because the blog itself has actual step-by-step instructions that we use to get results for our clients, and that are our go-tos that we use for our clients to get results. And you should, therefore, if you like the channel, you should check that blog out as well, because it's actually even more useful. But anyway, with all that said, if you go through everything that I'm talking about here from start to finish, optimize that image, optimize your title, optimize your landing page, and add a merchant center promotion to your shopping campaign if you haven't one already, you can literally take a campaign that is now producing 50 to 100% ROI or ROAS right now, get it to 500 to 1,000% ROAS once you've worked your way down this list and actually went through all the actions you needed to make it work better. So 10x the level of ROI on the same campaign once you went through all this stuff, because it's that profitable to do all this stuff. Yes, it's not going to be easy, but if it were easy, everybody would do it and it wouldn't be worth doing. And you wouldn't have any edge, because the main thing you got to know is you got to understand that it's you versus the competition. Google wants to send all the customers to the person who helps their users out the most. Preferably, there'd be one guy who helps users out the most, and they would send absolutely everybody to them. That's why most of the time you see in the shopping space in a lot of industries, 5 out of the 8 ads are just one company. And the reason why they do that is for exactly what I just told you. They're helping the user out the most, and that's apparent through the ad click-through rates that they get, the landing page conversion rates they get. And if you want to make the mega bucks, the millions of dollars a year in this business that you're in doing shopping ads, you need to figure out how to do that so you can look like that guy or gal to Google yourself, because that's where all the money lies. There's no money anymore in doing things half-ass and just doing it the bare minimum how can I do the bare minimum I need to make money? I just want an honest income. You either make all the money or you make none. I'm sorry to tell you that that's the way that Google's basically set it up now. So, and all the information though, in terms of how to actually do that in your market, I don't care how competitive a market you're in, it's all on this channel for free. Whether you actually capitalize on it and use it, it's up to you. But with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.